Hi everybody, Eve Anastasia again, and welcome to my esoteric channel. Today we're going to be talking about elements, just spiritual elements, the four basic elements. Some say there are five elements, which would be, the earth, water, air, and fire, plus the spirit. Also, in the Chinese tradition of the I Ching, there are two additional elements of wood and metal. So we're going to start off, I think, with a basic understanding of where all this knowledge is coming from and why it's important to know it. And it is a foundation of everything esoteric and anything to do with mysticism, especially if we're going to be delving into astrology or tarot, or even doing some spell work, say, on healing or, abundance. The foundation of the four elements is crucial. In my introductory video, I talked a little bit about how we can look around at our physical world and see the actual elements at play in our world. If I'm driving down the road and I see a mailbox, I can represent that as a cup. If I'm in this room right here and have walls around me, these are shields, which would be of earth. So these things are all around us if we really pay attention, especially in the idea that there's plants, um, flowers, different types of trees, animals. Like a good representation of earth would be a dog. Dogs are earth. Cats are fire. Fish obviously are water. Birds are obviously air. So there's always an association with the elements in our world. So, in one of my presentations about So You Want to Learn the Tarot, I spoke briefly about the Kabbalah. Now, when I was growing up, many years ago, I knew that I had an ability. Maybe you could call it psychic or something of that nature. When I just kind of had a knowing. I don't know everything, but I had a knowing. And prophetic dreams, and I can manipulate energy, and I've helped women get pregnant, and just through all the manipulation of energy. But I had to learn about those things, and it took a lot of time and energy to resource and to research these different things. Later on in my life, I found out that I was a medium, and I actually went to a place just to prove this theory because, yeah, okay, I could believe that there's this universe and all this energy and stuff, but when it came to actually speaking to entities that weren't physically in a physical form, I kind of stopped it right there. The woman that had introduced me to my mediumship, I thought she was full of it, and that she wanted money. There must have been some motive, monetary gains or something. There had to be something there other than the truth, and the truth was is that that I was a medium and that I could speak to these entities. And my spirit guide, when it was very active and I was first introduced to it and doing a lot of automatic writing and channeling, we would go to the bookstore, and what had happened was is I was introduced to the Kabbalah, or the Tree of Life, and one of the first authors was Dion Fortune. Obviously, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, their whole system is built on the Kabbalah. I got to that a little bit later, but yeah, what had happened was is I opened this book and saw the Tree of Life, which this is a very, I don't know, Neanderthal looking type of illustration of mine. But basically, this is the Tree of Life. This is the Kabbalah. And what was interesting to me was that each sphere of energy, which are called Sephiroth, okay, these spheres of energies or emanations of God had a vibration or a tone, had a visual color, had a number, and a representation on the tree to where it was either a positive or a negative. Let me just grab this real quick. So here's the same 10 emanations of God, which are Sephiroth, and then we have a positive, masculine, active side, and a feminine, negative, passive side. So you had a positive and a negative side of energy, and then the thing called the middle pillar. And this middle pillar here would balance these two energies out. So we have a yin and a yang here in the tree as well. So everything I had been studying my entire life, from numerology to color therapy with auras, the I Ching, tarot, everything came together in this tree. There's planetary influences of each of these spheres. There's astrological signs. There's 12 paths that connect the spheres of energy, which are the major arcana cards in the deck of the tarot. So everything was here, and my guide brought me to this, and everything just kind of came together. And I was like, wow, this is the blueprint of everything. Now, please don't let the idea of Judaism or religion play into this. No one's really sure where the Kabbalah has come from, where it's originated from. No one's really sure where the tarot originated from. I mean, we can go back in time and kind of look at historically where all this stuff came about, but no one can really pinpoint it. And I'm guessing because, the libraries of Alexandria were destroyed for whatever reason, we may never get that knowledge fully, unless maybe if we meditate on it or if we ask our spirit guides for some information about that. So getting back to the Tree of Life, we're going to be definitely delving into some ideas and understanding and information about this tree. So the reason why I'm coming to the tree is because the 4 elements play a part in the tree. And here's how that goes. Let's pretend we have 4 trees, one on top of the other, right? One on top of the other, one on top of the other. Starting with fire, air, water, and earth. So let's pretend we have 4 trees. And those 4 trees are in their own world. And I'm going to be using some Hebrew words that represent these 4 worlds. And we're going to start with fire. Fire being the top or the originative state of things. So when I have an idea that pops into my head and say I want to design a new car, or build a home, or start a business, there's an originative idea, and that comes from the element of fire. So metaphysically, there's the element of play, and then from that it comes into a performative world, which would be air, and then it would come into a creative world, which would be water, and then it would come into a material world, which would be earth. So that process is always going on, right? It's always coming from originative to formative to creative to material. Those are the 4 worlds, which are associated to each element. So in our originative world, we have Atziluth. Now, Atziluth is fire. It deals with the wands in the tarot. It's associated with a magical animal, which are salamanders. It represents summer and noontime. It rules the sight and energy. Also, it has a cardinal point: north, south, east, west. South, fire. The color is red, and the archangel is Michael. Now, in some Christian Catholicism, there's a representation of 4 cardinal animals, or representations as well, like the lion, the ox, the eagle, and man. You'll see some of that in some of the teachings of Christianity and Catholicism. The cross has 4 points, dealing with fire, air, earth, and water. So this structure is essential for everything. Moving on from Atziluth, we're going to go into Yetzirah. Yetzirah is air. Its cardinal point is east. Its magical weapon or suit in the tarot is swords. The magical animal is a sylph, and it rules springtime and the dawn. It also deals with smell and gases. The archangel for archangel for air is Raphael, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but it does rise in the east. So air is east. The color is yellow. It deals with intellect and thinking, whereas fire deals with will and feeling. Okay. And then our next level, our next level would be water. Water is a creative energy. Its world, in the world of Kabbalah, is Abria. Its color is blue. It deals with intuition or emotion. Its magical weapon or tarot representation is the cups or chalice. The magical animal is an undine. It deals with the sunset, which is opposite of east, right? It deals with fall, taste, and a liquid state. Gabriel is the archangel of water. And this is the creative level. Finally, we come to Earth. And on Earth, we are dealing with Azaya. That is the Hebrew word for this world. Azaya, Earth, green, we think of. Its magical weapon or interpretation of tarot is the pentacle or shields. Its magical animal is a gnome. It deals with the time of day of midnight. Its time of year is winter. It deals with touch, and it's a solid. This element takes form. It's material. It's tangible. It's things we can touch. The cardinal point is north, and its archangel is Ariel, or Oriel. So if we're thinking about these elements and how they play into our world, it's pretty basic stuff, right? So if I'm interested in some type of monetary gain, my physical body, things of that nature, I'm going to go to Earth. If there's emotion or intuition or feeling, or say I want to enhance my intuition in some regard, I'm going to go to water. Then if there is some type of will I want to impose on something or somewhere, and it's also a very good cleansing, is fire. Obviously, all of our elements are going to cleanse in some way or empower in some way. There's a polarity with each of the elements as well. And then if I wanted to, deal with any type of intellectual thing, thinking, we're dealing with, obviously, air. So these play into our astrological signs as well. There are 3 astrological signs to each of these elements. Water would be Scorpio, Pisces, and the other one I can't think of right from the top of my head. It'll come to me later. But then, Earth would be like Taurus or Capricorn. Fire being Scorpio. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Fire being Sagittarius or Aries. And then with the air, something along the lines of maybe Gemini. And you can see how these elements work too with these specific or astrological signs, because air signs are great thinkers, water signs are more creative, fire signs are more willful, and earth signs are more stable and structured and kind of stubborn and unmoving. So that is just a brief interpretation of elements. We're going to dig in more to them, obviously, and see how they play out into other things that we're going to be talking about in this series. But would be great. What would be great is just to get an idea on your own. Go seek out some ideas about how you interpret or relate to these different elements. I want to talk about sigils briefly. A sigil is just a symbol that is used as an interpretation of something. So the sigils for these elements are triangles, and this is alchemical symbols that I'm going to be using here. And basically the triangles each represent a position, say up or down. And if we're dealing with earth, obviously earth is down. And the way that I remember is because there's a vowel in front of earth, there's a line through that to interpret earth. Then I have water, and then air. And air has a vowel in the beginning. So that reminds me that there's a line through it. And then there's air and fire. So these are our alchemical symbols for earth, water, air, and fire. And when we're writing out things, or maybe hanging out in our grimoire and writing out spell work or something like that, we can utilize these alchemical symbols pretty easily and commit them to memory. There's one other thing I want to really touch on before I wrap it up today. There are symbols also when we talk about tatwas. Tatwas are Hindu, and they are a meditative type of sigil that we can utilize and correspond with each other and mix up and stuff. So with earth, it's just a basic square. With the water, it looks like kind of like a moon. I'm not very artistic, so you'll have to deal with me, and I'm going to show you this here in a minute. Air would be a triangle, and then, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Air would be a circle, and then fire would be a triangle. So these are tatwas, these sigils here. Then they are earth, water, air, and fire. And what's great about these is that we can meditate on them and pull in the energy that we would need from, say, any of these elements to enforce or reinforce what we're doing. If I wanted more stability in my job, obviously I'm going to be going to earth, right? If I want more stability in myself, or if I want to do an uncrossing and kind of get rid of anything that's unstable, I'm going to be going to earth. And what I can do is say I wanted to have that as my foundation of earth, and then say I needed some new thoughts or ideas about this particular thing that I'm focusing on. Again, say with my job, I want more stability there, but say I want to learn more. I can take the circle of air meaning thinking and intellect, and take this here, the symbol here, and actually just sit and meditate and focus on the square with the circle in it. Because my intention is set of what I wanted to do, I can now reinforce that in my own person. Because here's the thing. In our minds, subconsciously, all our subconscious can really deal with are energies, subtle energies, but is symbolism. There are so many languages, so many different people talking about different things and having different interpretations about things. But symbolism is the key here. My subconscious will know. And that's a way to be looking at this too, is because there's different levels of consciousness, right? We've got consciousness here on the plane of Earth. Then we can go a little deeper to our subconscious, which would be water, and then to air, which is our superconscious, um, and then we tap right into fire, which is our holy guardian angel, so to speak. So I could go on a whole tangent about the holy guardian angel, but there's a process here that's not just about material, physical things in this world. It's deeper, it's metaphysical. It goes so much deeper into our psyches. So we can feed our subconscious mind information through symbols and symbolism. I'm gonna cut it short now, and if there's any questions, concerns, comments, um, please let me know, and I'll get back to you. Also, this next part of the series, we're going to be talking about the Kabbalah itself. And I think it's important that we do get an idea. We don't have to, we can always expand on what our knowledge. Our wisdom and knowledge is the only thing we're taking with us when we leave here. So it's great to be able to feed that within ourselves. And I think the Kabbalah would be wonderful, just a quick interpretation of what that is and what that means will be the next series here. And yeah, so I hope that wasn't too complicated or confusing. Obviously, we're going to expand on the information that we have here already. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.